you. Storyteller number 4 is an operations and management professional by day and a restless dreamer by night. She likes red wine, fancy cheeses, and spending time in nature. Everyone please welcome Aparna Jayaraman.
Thanksgiving 2012. I had been living in Lesotho for about a year at this point, and things could not be going better. As a volunteer science teacher, my students were learning. I got regular aha moments, always a good sign. They're doing well in their exams. As someone getting used to village life, I was learning how to live without running water and electricity, and I was really enjoying it too. And as a new member of my community, I was making friends, I was getting along with my colleagues. My host mother and I had great conversations, usually about, the crops and things like that. I mean, she did most of the talking, but... So things were going great, and I was really excited to celebrate all of this with my friends during this holiday. Now, my friend who was hosting Thanksgiving this year lived in a pretty rural part of Lesotho, and rural in Lesotho means up in the mountains. So a few of us decided that we'd meet up and we'd hitchhike together. Now, I've never hitchhiked in the US, I wouldn't do it today, but I did it all the time as a volunteer in Lesotho, oftentimes by myself. It was a good way of saving money, and you met some pretty cool people. The people in Lesotho had cars were often a little bit more well-to-do, a little bit more educated. It was kind of like networking 101 for a volunteer. So we all met up, we assembled in a line, pointed out our index fingers, because this is how you hitchhike in that part of the world, and we waited. And soon enough, a car came by. He was going past our friend's place. It was a perfect match. So we all got in and started making our ways into the mountain. And as the road started to wind, our driver looks back at us, and he asks us, "Where are you guys from?" And instinctually, I wait for him to turn around and look at the road again. I see the car starting to drift just a little bit into the oncoming traffic lane. Thankfully, there are no other cars on the road. And within a few seconds, my friend hurriedly responds, "We're all Americans!" And he nods his head calmly, turns back to look at the road, swerves to get back into the lane, brakes, and then accelerates, because we are going up a mountain. And then he turns around again. "How long have you guys been in Lesotho?" And in my head, I just try to keep telling him, "Turn around, look at the road, turn around." I can feel my heart rate just increasing. I can hear my heart louder than I'd ever heard it before. And a few seconds pass, and again, my friend hurriedly responds, "We've been here for about a year." And again, he calmly nods, swerves, brakes, accelerates. Then the third time he turns around, and this time when he asks this question, I can hear the slurring in his voice. And I look at my friends to see if they're thinking what I'm thinking. Their eyes are wide open, their breaths held. And we all knew what we had to do. We have to get out of that car. Now this part of Lesotho, this rural part, you have these winding roads, you have the mountain face on one side, the cliff on the other side, and then all of a sudden you'll have this village. And you'll go through the village and once again kind of come to these, just beautiful mountain roads. And as I'm sort of thinking these thoughts, I see a village in the distance, and I believe my friend was seeing it as well, because all of a sudden she says, "Oh my God, our friend lives there." And we all kind of give her a look. And then we see where she's going with this, and so we say, "Yeah, she definitely lives there, and guys, she'd be so offended if we didn't visit, right? You know what? Just pull over the car. We're just gonna get off here. We're gonna visit our friend, but you don't have to wait for us. You should just keep going. We don't want to keep you up." So we all got out of the car. He drives off. We shared this kind of nervous laughter to kind of let go of the tension. And once we shake it off, we're once again assembled on the side of the road, with our index fingers out. Now, as terrifying as that car ride was, the moment we were out of it, we weren't worried. I mean, yes, we were in a rural part of the country that we didn't really know, and yes, we needed to get to our friend's place before dark, but we'd been here a year, we knew what we were doing, we'd get a ride, and we'd all figure it out, and we're together. What could go wrong? However, for someone who grew up in rural Lesotho, who maybe never seen one American, let alone 3, we were probably quite a sight in that village. So a few minutes within getting there, we noticed 2 women starting to make their way towards us. Their blankets wrapped around their chest, as is the custom there, their hands behind their back as they started walking up a small hill to greet us. They didn't speak any English, so they asked us in Sesotho, "What are you guys doing here?" I took it upon myself to answer their questions, starting with just introducing ourselves, what we were doing in Lesotho, and then getting to the matters of the day. And as I'm going through this whole story, this feeling starts creeping up in me. It's pride. I am so proud of myself right now. I mean, I'd only been in Lesotho for 1 year, and I was speaking this entire language, and I'm not saying it was perfect, but I was just using my hands and using my face to really get my point across, and I could tell they got it, like they were following me. And in that moment, I wanted them to know how I felt. So I decided that I was going to end the story with a passionate exclamation. So I said, "We want to live." The women gave me a strange look, and my friends started giggling, and I immediately realized what I had said. I had said, "Rekopa ho peha." Except peha didn't actually mean to live. Pela means to live. Peha means to cook. So I just told these women, who may never see another American in their life, that we wanted to cook. I immediately fixed my mistake, though that didn't save me from any teasing that weekend. And eventually we got a ride, we got to my friend's place, safe and sound, had an amazing Thanksgiving all together. But moments like this, it would happen a lot in Lesotho. I'm not saying the intoxicated driver and being stranded in the middle of the country, you only do that once. But these moments where I'd have slips of the tongue or misunderstandings. Learning Sesotho was really hard for me. I was so intimidated by this that months before leaving the US, I scoured the internet for any resources I could find, and I found them. I hopped onto that plane knowing that I was well ahead of the rest of my peers. But it didn't last long. Whenever I'd chat with a local, I'd be so concerned about my vocabulary and my grammar, and if I made a mistake, I'd get immediately flustered. It made it really hard to have a genuine conversation, even harder to have a human connection. Eventually, I accepted that I was never going to be fluent in Sesotho. All I could do was try my best, and that was good enough. Sometimes I'd get it right, that was great. A lot of times I got it wrong, and people were pretty forgiving. I mean, first they'd laugh at me, and then they'd tell everyone around me, "Oh my God, this ridiculous thing that just came out of her mouth, I mean, who would make that mistake?" But then they'd look at me, they'd correct me, and then teach me 5 words that they thought I should know. And yeah, every once in a while you get the disgusted look of someone who was appalled at how you could slaughter their language, but that didn't happen often. Overall, I think I did good. I made a lot of good friends, I had some great conversations. Let's be honest, passion for cooking, not the worst stereotype out there about Americans. Thank you.
We're going to take a 10-minute